Hey everyone, today I wanted to give you a quick overview on Impero and how to install the software and make use of it in the classroom. So the way Impero works is it's a program that can be run web-based or on a Windows or Mac computer that allows you to actually monitor what the kids are doing, block tabs, open tabs, force content onto their screens, and do a lot of things that allow you to manage devices in the classroom. So the first thing we'll need to do is actually create class groups. And so we'll create those class groups using Google Classroom, and we'll do that through the web-based interface. So the first thing you'll need to do if you are new to Google Classroom and have not set up classrooms before is you'll need to go to Google Classroom, which is classroom.google.com. Up here, click the plus sign and create class. And once you've created a class, you'll give it a name. Now, you need to name it something specific because Impero is going to look at all the classrooms across the district, and if there's two classrooms named the same, it's going to create a unique number. So it needs to be something like your name and your class and the section number. So, for example, Holt, English 1, first period, something along those lines, so I know I'll be the only one that has that. So once you create a class, you'll need to actually add some people. So if you'll click the people button across the top, and you can invite teachers, you can invite students, but really the way I prefer to do it is to actually have kids join with this join code right here. So they'll join with that code and start populating those classes. Once I have students in Google Classroom, then I can actually sync those Google Classrooms to my Impero console. So to do that, I'm going to open a new tab, and I'm going to go to console.imperosoftware.com. Once I get there, I will sign in with Google. And at first, your screen, you're going to notice, will be completely blank because you have not imported any classes yet. So you'll actually click the Sync with Google Classroom. And the first time you click that button, a little screen will pop up, say it's authorizing. And what you'll see is up in your Omnibar, a little pop-up blocked icon. What you'll need to do with that is click that and allow pop-ups, and then refresh the page and try again. When you click on it the second time to sync with Google Classroom, it'll take a couple minutes, but you'll actually see all of the classrooms you created pop up here. Now, because I'm an admin user, it's actually letting me see all the classes that have been created. So if I click here, for example, I'm in a class now with, it's a science first period, and I can see students are in here. Now, once I've synced my classes with Google Classroom, I can either manage my classes in here and actually manage lessons by clicking on a group and then clicking Manage Lesson. And you can see here I can send messages to students, I can run a website, lock screen, unlock screen, and allow websites. And I would do that by clicking on a student or a set of students, click Manage Lesson, and then apply that setting. Now, I will tell you that the Classroom Cloud is a beta feature of Impero, so it will not work perfectly for everyone. You can see here I actually have someone that's having issues connecting. So it'll be fully fledged and out of beta in January, but we do have early access to it, which is nice. Okay, so the other way that we'll actually access it, and the way I encourage you to actually use the console right now, is through the desktop version of the console. So I'm going to sign into Windows computer to show you how the console works. So if you have not installed the Impero console, or you do not see this Impero console icon on your desktop, you can reference this video on how to actually install from the Software Center. But once you do have it installed, you'll need to wait until you see that icon that popped it down the bottom right to say that the Impero console was working. Double click on the Impero console icon, and it'll prompt you for a password that has been emailed to you. Now, you'll have to enter that password once a day just as a security feature to make sure that students can't get into Impero without you knowing about it. Okay, so once you're in Impero console, you will see a screen that looks very similar to this. Differences you'll see is over here on the left where it says My Groups. Instead of having all the different groups for every student across the district, it'll actually only have your students. Okay, your groups that you create in Google Classroom. So I'm going to go down and find a we'll do this first period, whatever this is. Across the top, you have your menu bar that has your different actions that you can do. So you can lock a group, lock the internet, disable printing, disable sound. You can actually broadcast the screen of a student so that it's on your projector. You can send students a message, run a file. The exam module you can do, it's a little clunky, but you can do that. Question. And then these other settings here, power on, power off, log on, log off, those are actually specific to Windows computers. So for y'all using Chromebooks, you're not going to see any value to those. Okay. And then down at the bottom, you have your two main views. You have a computer list view, which is what I'm in now. So it shows me all my active computers and then all my inactive computers. And then next to it is the live thumbnail view. So if I click on that, it'll pull up thumbnails of all the screens that are going on here. Okay, so I'm going to start off in computer list and show you a little bit of this. Okay, and then here you have some options to create, delete groups, properties, and then to check, uncheck, sort, and filter. All right. So one of the things I like to do first is I like to click this little button here that switches and shows me usernames first and then computer name next. This makes it a little easier for me to see which students I'm looking at. And so I'm going to, so we'll take this here, this student. I can see that they're active. If I click the drop down, or so if I click the plus sign here, it actually drops down and gives me some other options. I can see a thumbnail of what's going on. That's a live view. I can actually click the plus sign again and see their active windows. So if there's something on here that they shouldn't be on, so like maybe this Survivor IO, I can actually click on it and then close selected window. And it'll close that window so it's not open anymore for them. I can also look at the recent history, okay, and click on websites, and I can see what they've been doing. So they've been on Survivor IO for a little bit. Before that, they were on Cool Math. Okay, that is a nice little feature there to see kind of history of what's going on. The other thing you can do is if you have policy set up, which we'll cover in another video, you'll actually see a log of any captures for those students, okay, which we don't have any setup for the students, so it's not going to show anything. Now, if I double-click on the student's name, I can actually see the current window in a little bit bigger size. And I can do some things here. I can still send messages. I can still chat. I can still see what windows they have open and close the ones they shouldn't be on, or even bring to focus. So maybe you want to say, hey, I really need you to look at this. So we're going to go to this one, and we're going to bring this one to focus. And you'll see here in a second, it actually changed their window. So I didn't close it, but I did force them to go back to a certain window. I can also share control of their device. Okay, now in the live thumbnail view, it's a little different. So when I click on a screen, it'll actually open up a little larger. So again, I can see that same window I had on the other side. I can also enlarge my view by clicking the plus sign. Now as I enlarge, it does not allow me to see as many windows on one screen, so I'll actually have to scroll to see that. Okay, so that is Impero in a nutshell. You can feel free to check out the training resources on connectedforlearning.org to find out more about the things you can do, like creating policies and profiles. Like you can see here, I just got an alert that a profile was hit with ISS. And feel free to let me know if you guys have any questions.